for joining us. This is our alumni panel. My name is Adrianna Gradisek. I am a senior here at Carroll. I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. An exercise science major with a minor in bio. I'm just here to moderate this panel. Just so you guys know, this is one of our special panels, so when you leave, if you head out those doors up there, we have a nice student volunteer who will give you one of the blue and golden tickets, which is super exciting, so you have more chances to win those raffles, which is really cool. I'm very jealous. Current students cannot try to win them, so you guys are really lucky, because I can't take it. But yeah, we're going to get started. I just have a couple slides to show you about our Student Alumni Association, which is really how our current students on campus work with some of our alumni, and then I'm going to hand it over to these guys. So like I said, we do have the Student Alumni Association. It was established in 2008, and it's really just something to strengthen the bond between our current students on campus and our alumni, which I think we already work really well with them. I think they do a lot to help us out, and vice versa, so that's really cool. They work through social networking, a lot of different events, and it's just sort of an opportunity to get our students to start to enrich the loyalty and support that we have in our traditions here at Carroll by working with our alumni, which is really cool. Two awesome programs I think that they put on in partnership with the Office of Alumni Relations are these two things. So Backpacks to Briefcases and our John Carroll Mentoring Network. So Backpacks to Briefcases is a programming series. They offer a few different things. I know cooking classes is one of them. It's a lot of ways. So basically it's just taking our current students, especially seniors, and teaching them how to transition into the real world, whether it be things, like I said, like cooking is a huge one. There are a lot of students that really are still learning how to do that, and they have people come in that teaches them different things like that, which is really cool. And then our mentoring network. It's a database that is exclusive to John Carroll that links all of our current students with our alumni, so in the same area of interest or things like that. So two really cool opportunities to take advantage of while you're on campus and an undergraduate student. Like I said, I think we work really well with our alumni. There's a lot of people that are always willing to reach out and help our undergraduate students, which I think is awesome. That's all I have to say. Like I said, I'm going to hand it over to the alumni. We have a few videos at the end too, and obviously we're always open to audience questions as well. So take it away.
You're first. Now you go.
Okay. Hi. We're like going to walk across, like very catwalk.
Okay. I'm with you.
We're the alums.
Are we following you guys? Okay.
We talked about what we were going to say. We just didn't get it choreography right. But hi, I'm Jennifer Gardner. I graduated from Carroll in 2003. I majored in political science and I minored in English and philosophy, so I am like as liberal arts education as you can get. So I could barely point to the science center of the business school, but I would happily answer any questions about any of those areas. I went on to law school and I've practiced in a variety of firms and in-house in the Cleveland area right now. I own my own consulting business. And I'm also president of the John Carroll Cleveland Alumni Chapter. So happy to talk to you about sort of the things that we do for our alums in the Cleveland area. And we wanted to each sort of share a little Carroll nugget with you. So my first memory of John Carroll is when my mom got her master's in education from here when I was 4.5. And what I remember about Carroll was that they had lots and lots of grass and really good cookies. And that made a lasting impression. And I joke about that, but honestly, John Carroll has always been sort of a part of the fabric of my life. It's always felt like family and like home to me, and it still does how many years later. So I think that's a rare in the story. So that's my spiel. I'll hand it over.
Hi, I'm Cara Sulzer. I'm from the class of 2004. I'm originally from Canton, Ohio, and I majored here in political science. I minored in history, so sort of like Jen, very much part of the liberal arts, and I also cannot direct you. This is the science building. After I graduated, I worked a little bit in human resources for about 7 years or so, and I'm currently staying at home with my 2 children. So that to me, I think one of the really great things that I've always thought about my John Carroll education is that the liberal arts and being a political science major has sort of taught me how to expand beyond the box. You know, if you're thinking inside the box, I'm thinking here, 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 and here as well. So it's very much given me analytical skills that I can take into all areas of my life. What else? I will say kind of a little bit also like Jen said, John Carroll to me is home. I came up here my freshman year from Canton, Zillion Hour. day in a row on campus. So I love John Carroll.
So unlike Jen and Cara, I was on this side of the school, so even though I clearly graduated the same year, 2003. We did not know each other. So I was over in the Bowler side of the business school. So I'm Patrick. I graduated in 2003. I did business management with a concentration in entrepreneurship. I've had kind of a self-diagnosed attention deficit disorder with my career last, how long has it been? 13, 14 years, whatever it's been now. But I got out of college and I started running a nonprofit organization. I worked for and then ran it, which was kind of a spin-off of where Paul's at now, which is kind of ironic. And then I went into the private equity world and I invested in startup companies for a family. And then I went and did business development for a large commercial construction company. And today I've been for 4 years at a software company. So you can see my self-diagnosis. And I started 2 little businesses in between that and sold them. And what I do now is I'm in corporate development for a growing software company here in Cleveland called Onshift. We do staff scheduling and labor management software for nursing homes. I know it's not the most glamorous places to go to, but our company started, when I was there, we started, when I started there was 25 of us, now there's 200. And I think we're going to top off around 250 this year. So we're right in downtown Cleveland, so it's a growing software company. From a Carroll experience, I'm very, very close still with a lot of my professors. I actually see a lot of them on a quarterly or semi-yearly basis, mostly for cocktails now, which is kind of fun. And at work now we have John Carroll magazine. I just got off the phone with somebody yesterday. They're doing an article on our company because we have probably about 20 to 25 alum that either got graduate degrees or undergraduate degrees from John Carroll that work at our company. So we tend to hire a lot of John Carroll people. And for a software company, you can kind of see that there's a mix of all the majors. We have people covered in my department in corporate development, via me, marketing, technology and development, product, finance. We really run the whole gamut, customer service. So we really, the alumni network, I think, is really what really draws a lot of attention to the school and to the students that are here and utilizing that alumni network to get their next step in their career. Whether it's local here in Cleveland or elsewhere, there's huge alumni networks of John Carroll in multiple major cities, which is what I've really come to experience. So, pass the mic.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Coad, but now Norton. I need to change my name to the university. So I graduated John Carroll in 2011. My major was psychology with a concentration in industrial organizational psychology, and I had a minor in business. From there, I went on to Cleveland State and graduated with a degree, with a master's in labor relations and human resources. And I currently work in human resources at NASA out by the airport. I can't remember what the other questions. So a little Carroll nugget for me is, so when I was still in your shoes trying to decide where I was going to go for my undergrad degree, my mom and I came onto the campus and immediately we loved it. We loved how small it was. It wasn't that far from home. I'm from the Cleveland area. And so I was like, okay, well, this is where I'm going to school. And so at the time, I was working at TJ Maxx. And one of my friends at TJ Maxx, I was telling her, yeah, I picked my school. I'm going to John Carroll. And she was like, I'm going to John Carroll too. And I was like, okay, perfect. And we're best friends still to this day. That kind of solidified my decision for me because I knew I had a premium coming in. But that's pretty much all I have.
What impact of Carroll on your career?
Oh, so one of my professors here, who was also my academic advisor, she really encouraged me to pursue industrial organizational psychology. It was something that was pretty foreign to me. When I decided that I wanted to major in psychology, my focus was on clinical or child psychology, and I didn't see anything else. And so when she encouraged me to pursue that field, that really opened a lot of doors for me. It opened doors for internships, which I ended up being an intern at NASA. And it turned out that the HR director was a John Carroll graduate. And so I ended up staying, and I'm here today. And actually, my mentee for the past few years has been a John Carroll student.
Hello, I'm Paul Federico, and by process of elimination, I am the old guy. Yes, the sage one here on staff. I graduated in '88, and the second question I noticed on here was, well, why did you decide to go to John Carroll? And the honest answer is I really don't remember. It was 29 years ago, so it's a long time. But one of the pieces was my dad graduated from John Carroll. And he was a guy who went on to get a couple masters, was a teacher, and I always thought my father had to be a guy. He was a head football coach locally, high schools. And I decided my first job out of school was a sales job, and the second job is the job that I'm in today. So I've been in the same position for 28 years, working for the Greater Cleveland Partnership. So it's Chamber of Commerce for the Cleveland area, and we are the largest Chamber of Commerce in the country. We are also the best Chamber of Commerce in the country. And so we do a lot of great work. It's a lot of ways giving back to nonprofit, but it's helping private sector companies. And I was thinking about my connection to John Carroll, and I remember when I graduated, the CEO of Sherwin-Williams, who went to school here, was actually our commencement speaker. It was kind of cool. Flash forward to just a couple of days ago, and the CEO of Whittier was speaking in the Muldoon Center this week. And he's the CEO, and he actually graduated in 1986. Well, that was kind of cool. So my job is about helping the companies, local companies here, some of the bigger ones, and it's sort of like comes full circle. So it's kind of exciting. Impact of my career, I think I kind of explained that's kind of the connection, but I do think about when I first was graduating, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I remember we went through all this process of doing interviews. And there are sort of fake interviews, but people would come in and do these interviews. And I remember my jacket was on the back of my coat was on the back of in my car, and it had fallen to the floor, and it was crumpled into a ball. When I was running in to do one of these fake interviews, I'm like, what do I do? I got this crumpled coat. I'm like, this is not good. And so I decided not to wear the coat and just wear a nice shirt, get the tie going. And I remember the guy asking me, he's like, well, is there a reason that you didn't wear a coat inside? It's kind of like a professional thing. I'm like, oh, I should have said something, but yeah, it fell. And he's like, all you got to do, Paul, one of the most important things to do is just be honest. If you're honest, and people love this kind of stories. People love this kind of stories. It always stuck with me. And I know in life here, it's being honest is probably one of the most important things. And the people at John Carroll are probably the most important piece of what we do here. Coming to John Carroll, I remember so well that people were so kind here. People are not kind everywhere, I realized later. But at John Carroll, it is really true, and you get used to that. And probably the most important thing, being the old guy, I realized that being kind, one thing you can say about your children or grandchildren is that they're kind people, and that is what you get out of John Carroll, in my opinion. So, that's it.
I would piggyback that up with the kindness. There is some type of I want to call it a camaraderie, of course, at our office. Because like I said, there's like 25 people that we just hired 6 new people in sales that are all graduated last year from John Carroll, just ironically. But there's this very strange, like, I always say that in our company we're very interdependent off of each other, whereas that I need you, you need me, we need each other to make this thing work and go forward and continue to grow our business. And that mentality very much resonates with most of the people that I've come in contact with, that I work with at John Carroll. And I'm not trying to belittle anyone else at any other college or university, but there is some type of a mindset that is different. It's different from some of the other folks that I work with out of the 200 people. So I would agree with that there is some sort of a kindness or an interdependency of helping each other out all the time.
And just a connection, my husband went to a large state school, because again, not to belittle any college or university, but he receives alumni material and throws them away without reading them, and I am the president of the alumni board. There's a difference, you know? You're connected in a different way here, and part of that is the size, part of it is the people and the experiences that you have here and who you meet. And sort of to what's great about that is whether you stay in Cleveland, where there are over 20,000 John Carroll alumni in the greater Cleveland area, or if you go to another city, you can connect with those alumni associations. I lived in DC for 3 years. I went to DC alumni events. Things like that. We now have a chat. I was in Denver for you. We have a chat about it now. We do now. So wherever your career or your life happens to take you, you can connect with John Carroll alumni. And whether it's a large network or a small one, they are welcoming. They are excited to have you. They plan fun events. They plan service events. They are happy to network with you. And I think that's something to remember, that it's bigger than just here and it's bigger than just Cleveland.
When I did my immersion trip to Immokalee, Florida, my sophomore year, there was an alumni event in Naples, and we actually drove down for the night, and we just got to like hang out there, and it was really cool. It was like really very interesting. Not to like, but a lot of the individuals in there were a little bit older because I think Naples is, tends to be the demographic. But they were all so great, and they didn't really know a lot about the immersion program because that is relatively new within the last 10 or so years. And so they were so excited to speak with all of the undergraduate students, and they wanted to hear about our experiences, and they wanted to tell us about their experiences, and it was really cool. There were like quite a few Carroll couples, and for me it was just like very reassuring. And same thing, being a senior a few months away from graduation, which is crazy. It's very reassuring to hear stories from alumni and know that I do have this connection and this network when I leave, which is really great. And it's something, because I want to carry Carroll with me as long as I can. So it's really cool to hear these stories and really be able to experience it with them too. But that was just another thing. It was so funny to be in Naples, and we're in Immokalee, and we drove down, and they were so like, "Oh, John Carroll students." And I was like, "Yes, that's us." So it was very fun. It was cool to see all that too. So.
And I know Ariana mentioned the Student Alumni Association. There's also opportunities, say, to work reunion weekend, other ways that you can connect with alums while you're a current student. And that's always a great thing to do because there are internship opportunities. There are things where you can call somebody up and say, "Hey, remember I brought you drinks at reunion, and now I'm looking for a job." There's just, there are things that, those are opportunities to keep your eyes open for and to connect, because I can tell you as alumni, one of the things we are always talking about is how we can interface more with current students. We love doing it. We want to help. We also want to just hear your experiences. So, any opportunities that you have, the alumni always welcome them. So if you're open to it, we are.
Does anyone have any questions? I mean, we've been doing all the talking.
Yeah.
We'll keep talking, by the way.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we definitely will. But
You guys are just here for the golden tickets, right?
yeah, right.
You see it. It's all right.
I have a question about your co-op and your internship opportunities. Is that something that all of you took advantage of?
I did not, because I knew I was going to law school. And so for me, because I wasn't looking for a job right out of Carroll, it wasn't something that I did, but I did.
Yeah, so I did. So my senior year here, I had to have I took a course that was a practicum course in psychology, and so I had to do an internship. And so, in trying to figure out what my internship was going to be for my senior year, I ended up applying for a summer internship at NASA. And so I ended up getting the summer internship. I did that for the summer. And the whole time I was there, I did a lot of networking, and I was like, okay, I have to have an internship during the school year. I want to be a co-op. And so I networked with my the people in HR, people outside of HR, and I ended up getting offered a co-op position that I worked during the school year. So I worked part-time there and had classes part-time here and kind of co-ops. So a lot of the co-ops sometimes are one semester on, one semester off, but I ended up doing it part-time throughout the school year. And then after I graduated here, I continued as a co-op while getting my master's degree.
Yeah, I took advantage of that as well. I interned for a small payment office, and then I also interned in a nonprofit organization, both of which I didn't want to do at the time. But I don't know. But I mean, I very much value the opportunities to take advantage of internships and co-ops because that's your resume builder. I have a cousin that's just came out of a very large state school in Ohio, the largest. So he one of my old college professors here, who has actually since passed away, he's an older gentleman, but he's the one that pushed me into these directions and got me connected. He would take me to the Union Club downtown, and we would have really fancy lunches with some of these other business professionals in the city. Really fun. But he also used to be the CEO of a utility company here, and that's now part of First Energy as well. So I think he just kind of hobnobbed with people. So I did take advantage of the internships, co-ops, and everyone that my professors and the folks that educated me knew as well. And I let them introduce me to people.
Yeah, and just to add to that, one thing that I learned and a lot of my friends learned as we were graduating and pursuing opportunities beyond graduation was that it was very important to have internship experience, and it was also important the relationships that you build to spend time while you are in school in undergrad, building relationships, networking when they do have alumni networking events, to use that as an opportunity to meet people, go to the Career Center, ask to meet with alumni or meet with people in industry, because those relationships and those experiences are sometimes more important than your GPA when it comes to trying to find opportunities, jobs outside of after you graduate.
That's a very good point. Nobody asks what your GPA is anymore.
And that was
That's all
something,
about experience.
yeah, and we were all so focused on our GPA and what our grades were, which was very, very important. But, you know, the GPA only got us in the door. It didn't get us a job. It was those relationships and taking the opportunity to do those, to build those skills in interviewing and networking and being able to connect with people so that once you do leave the door and they interview people, they remember you.
Yeah. I will also add that we have an amazing career center here. If they still call, is it still called the Career Center?
Yep.
Okay. There are some changes. It's amazing, and as an alum, you still have access to the Career Center, so you can
There's
resume. Yeah.
There's also an alumni business network online that is for John Carroll alums, so that it's all alumni-owned businesses. So whether you're looking for a job or just some place to patronize, you can narrow your search that way too. The alumni business directory, and that's through the alumni. It's on the alumni webpage.
I will also say my husband is also an alum, and we meet young, newly graduated alums at events all the time, and he's brought some of them in for interviews and hired a couple of them and stuff. So the networking is definitely key.
Something that's really huge. Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, ask me a question.
I mean, you're all obviously very local. I'm from New Jersey. You know, my husband works in Manhattan. That's likely where my son will be headed.
We have a New York chapter.
That's my concern, which is very personal, so I don't want to take a lot of time. But we're trying to figure out internships and like.
I used to travel to New York for 4 years, about 3 to 5 days every month for 4 years, and I definitely hit up those alumni events, the John Carroll alumni events, and they're robust.
Yeah, the New York chapter is one of our bigger chapters. I know they do a mass at St. Patrick's every year. They have regularly scheduled events, but that's also just a network that you can as well.
Yeah, I was just going to add, I mean, like, and this actually, I think, can kind of go with your point as well. I'm not from the Cleveland area, but and granted, you just have your son, but I am a member of a sorority on campus, and I can't tell you the amount of times women who graduated have reached out to, I just finished up serving as president of my sorority, and they would reach out to me and say, hey, can you pass this along to the chapter? I am working at this place, and we have an internship opportunity, or we're having a job opening right after graduation. Send this out to the girls that are business majors or communication majors. And that came literally from a group of 60 women. So that was like connections I made right there. But same thing, like I'm involved with campus ministry, and I can't tell you the amount of times someone in campus ministry has said to me, like, Adri, like, I know that you really love this type of service, and I think that you should talk to this person who I know or who graduated from Carroll. So it's really easy to make those connections while you're an undergraduate on campus with faculty members, other students, or students that you've known that have graduated. In the exercise science department, we have now a 3-year line of individuals who have gone on to get internships at the Cleveland Indians, all from John Carroll. So it started with one young woman who graduated a few years ago, and then she reached out to a professor and said, hey, we have another opening. A John Carroll student applied, he got it, and then the same thing happened, and then another John Carroll student just got it. He's actually at training today. So that's just something, and they're not all of them are from Cleveland. One was from the Cleveland area, one was from Youngstown, and one's actually from Chicago.
Well, and we have the dedicated internship with Beacon Press as well. There's a, through the communications department, there's an internship with Beacon Press because
Yeah.
some Russell went to John Carroll. And so that certainly takes you beyond borders too. This, you know, it isn't just, this place feels like home, but the weather is part of that. So.
This place feels like home because of the people. Like, no matter where the people are in the country, it's still home. I worked for a global organization when I was in human resources, and I was talking to somebody on the phone once, and throughout the course of the conversation, I talked to them several times. They were in our San Diego office, and for whatever reason, several conversations into our business partnership, I realized that we were both John Carroll alum. So we leave here, we go all over, so it's not at all hard to network beyond.
If not, I actually have 2 videos to show you guys. They're pretty short. So one is from a current student. Her name's Samantha Sloat. She actually serves, for a while she was president of the Student Alumni Association. I think she doesn't talk about it much, but that's who the first video is from. And then Cara is actually in the second video. So we're going to show both of those. We'll watch it.
Wow, Cara. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, your video? I guess. Yeah, I saw the little thumbnail. I was like, oh, look, that's Cara.
I don't really look at it as a school now. I look at it more of a home, and the people around me are all my second family. My sister and brother both went here. I'm the legacy student, so I hope to one day send my kids here and see my grandkids grow up here. I think that's the cool part about being a part of this community, is being a part of something that I can take pride in and value and hold close to my heart.
I was a junior in high school. A lot of my friends kind of had a really good idea of where they wanted to go, even though they were only juniors. I had no idea. There wasn't anything on my radar. And a friend of mine who had 3 older siblings at John Carroll at that point really thought that I would enjoy the campus and that it was at least a place that I should visit. I decided to come to the campus visit day. And my mom came with me, and I will never forget driving up Belvoir, and it was a beautiful day, like today, blue sky, buds on the trees, flowers blooming, and I remember driving up and seeing families walking their dogs and walking with their young children and working in their yards and seeing such a sense of community in just a neighborhood. Before we even got to campus, in my head I thought, this is where I'm going to go to school. And I loved that the community was small, the campus is small, but we're close to a big city. And so just by the end of that day, there was no, I mean, I was determined. I came home and I found out this is what I wanted, this is where I want to go, and this is what I need to do to make sure that I go there. So yes, I think of that all the time, just kind of winding up Belvoir. And before I even got to campus, but even being on campus, it's such a beautiful campus and a sense of community, as I mentioned earlier. Just everybody there was proud to be on campus and proud and excited to have these students coming in, and I just thought I wanted to be part of that. Woo.
Does anybody have any other questions or anything they want to talk about? Any questions for our alumni, for myself, anything?
We can stand back up. We can go back up.
Take them like you guys see.
Yeah. If anyone
Yeah.
wants to talk to anyone one-on-one, that's fine too.
Please feel free to stay after and talk to ask any questions. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I think this is a really important panel. Being a current student, I can attest to the relationships and how important having a relationship with the alumni is, and I think vice versa, having an alumni with having a relationship with your university is super beneficial. So thank you guys so much. Thank you to the alumni for joining us. I'm really appreciative of this. I think you guys did a great job.